Hey everybody, and welcome to Don't Copy That Floppy. I'm your host Lex.
I'm your other host Dan, and we are your weekly video game news podcast, broadcasting to you live on Chipbit Radio from chipbit.net. Where else can people find us, Lex?
Oh,
we're not broadcasting.
When we're not broadcasting.
Or while we're broadcasting. We're still there.
Yeah.
We can exist in multiple places simultaneously thanks to the internet.
The magic of the internet. We're on a whole fist worth of social media. Sites such as the Facebook, the YouTube, the Twitter, the Steam, which is more of an application and less of a website, and also the iTunes,
Which is also
more an application.
We're on all the these.
These.
For the most part.
Anyway, we have show archives on iTunes and on the chipit.net website.
Yep, and on YouTube.
And on YouTube
Currently,
now.
only current show, like recent episodes.
Yeah,
we'll have a completed one.
It goes back like 10 episodes, I think.
Yeah, something
around
like
that. So there's still quite a few hours to listen to there.
Yeah, you can listen to them over and over and over again if you want.
If you want.
If you want.
But definitely, interact with us on Twitter or...
Leave us a review on iTunes.
Or Facebook. And yeah. A review on iTunes would be...
A delight.
Hopefully
a good one. I mean, a bad one if you really have to. But I don't think we'd prefer it. What are we talking about this week? We got a little bit about our favorite Trainwreck. Mighty number 9.
Oh, no.
We've got a little bit about our other favorite Trainwreck, Battleborn. And we might just have a third Trainwreck lined up for you.
Oh,
Final Fantasy 15.
It's a
Trainwreck Extravaganza this week, is what I'm talking about.
Trainwreck Extravaganza, that's the episode name.
That's probably going to be the episode.
Final Fantasy 15 is like when you're on the train and you're going too fast and you can see up ahead that it's like there's that unfinished bridge.
And you're kind of like, maybe the conductor should slow down.
But the conductor's not slowing down.
He can't hear you, he's much too ill.
Yes, exactly.
We'll get to that, though. And then, we've got some other little stories about Nintendo. We've got some stories about the Apple, people at Apple's App Store being idiots about the games again.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a little bit of interesting news about the Oculus and other VR systems.
Some fantastic hypocrisy out of that.
In light of the impending release. Some of them are already out. I think the HTC Vive is out.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these VR headsets are already out, but with the impending release of the Oculus Rift, the one that kind of started this whole thing, and has been on everybody's radar for a while now, we've got some really crappy news. So let's start with Mighty Number 9. Mighty Number 9 had a commercial released today. I believe it was today that this got released. No, it was on the 25th. Excuse me.
No, the commercial was...
The commercial was on the 25th.
It was reported on Destructoid on the 26th.
Yes, a report from Destructoid on the 26th about this so-called Masterclass trailer, which is a trailer for Mighty Number 9, given its impending release in June, that was released by its Western publisher, Deep Silver. So I want to stress this was not made by the developer. This was not made by whoever is publishing it in Japan. This trailer was exclusively made by the Western developer. This trailer sucks. It's terrible. It's obnoxious. It's stupid. It's not great. At the time of the writing of this article from yesterday, on the 26th, the trailer had 1,732 upvotes and 13,720 downvotes.
Oh no!
It's one of those. And on top of everybody else who's taking umbrage over it, the CEO of the game's co-developer Inti Creates, Mr. Takuya Aizu, said on Twitter, "What the hell was Deep Silver," which he censored with asterisks, but you can tell who he's talking about, thinking, making a crappy PV like this? Unforgivable? I like that he calls it unforgivable.
Clint Eastwood's gonna walk in and shoot Deep Silver.
Yeah. So, why he's upset is pretty transparent. If you watch this trailer, I should post it to our Facebook, because wow.
It's that bad.
It's really bad. You haven't watched it yet, Lex,
I haven't.
But I took the burden of watching this trailer. One of the things that people are taking a lot of exception to is that very specifically a line in the voiceover says, one of the game mechanics will make the bad guys cry like anime fans on prom night, which Destructoid points out as basically alienating the entire audience of this game in like one fell swoop. And that this timing of this trailer couldn't be worse or better, I guess, depending on your whole outlook on the Mighty No. 9 situation. I don't care about the game, and I've kind of delighted in watching just this mess that's unfolded as the game keeps getting delayed over and over and over again. So I think it's kind of funny that this trailer has now released and just made it even worse. And from the publisher, no less. So yeah, I think that the developer has pretty good reasons to be mad about this in light of everything else. Because the last thing they need right now is bad press in any form whatsoever. And the Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter account did its godly duty, as it is wont to do, and posted about this, posting a picture of Sonic the Hedgehog and a bunch of pizza, saying, "Dear anime fans, on prom night, at least we'll still be here for you," which was then retweeted by none other than the DiGiorno Pizza official Twitter, who said that Sonic the Hedgehog is the fresh-baked pizza of gaming, while the other side is delayed delivery pizza.
Oh, man.
So everybody's getting in on bashing them at this point. It's rough.
Man, I didn't think DiGiorno was that cool, but they are.
They just became that cool.
I'm gonna go out and buy some DiGiorno.
And the Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter is way past cool.
Oh, man. They've run all the way past cool.
Oops. I should probably post something along with that, huh?
Nah.
It speaks for itself.
Speaks for itself.
So yeah, go check our Facebook out if you're listening right now, and you can watch that horrible trailer.
Oh, it's so bad.
Speaking of Mega Man, since, I mean, that's basically what Mighty No. 9 is.
Oh, man.
Do you want to take us into
There's
this
a fantastic story also, I guess, on Destructoid.
From the 26th?
We found out that Capcom, they're not making a new Mega Man game. Don't get excited.
No.
But what they are making is a Mega Man cartoon show.
And the other thing they happen to be making is a mistake.
No, so they're making a Mega Man cartoon show,
Yes.
and it looks real bad.
Well, all we've seen of it is this design.
Which looks... Oh,
it's terrible. It's so bad looking.
It's not even Mega Man. It's... Well, I guess it is Mega Man.
It is identifiably Mega Man.
No.
It's just it's just shitty Mega Man.
Bad, like, CGI BS.
It's got kind of a Tron vibe going on a little bit. Like Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
That sort of style. He's got some glowy lights on him. He's really skinny, aside from his big bulbous forearms and shins. So his design just looks weird. Because you're used to seeing, you know, like X, like Mega Man X, where he's kind of tall, but like strong looking. Or like old school Mega Man, where he's cute and little and stumpy.
Yeah.
But this is like this horrible in-between monstrosity. Kind of like when they made Sonic the Hedgehog really tall for some reason. Like, he always had those short little legs and short little arms, and then for no reason whatsoever, they just extended his limbs, so now he looks completely freakish. It's one of those.
So this is a Dentsu Entertainment USA,
Dentsu Entertainment, yes.
and DHX Media, and they gave Deadline a first look, but they talked about how it's going to be airing sometime in 2017, which is the 30th anniversary of the franchise. It's aiming for kids 6 to 9. And they're quoted as saying, "The parents who grew up playing the games..."
I don't know how they can aim it at kids 6 to 9 and that audience at the same time very effectively.
It follows the alter ego Aki Light, is that how you pronounce it?
I guess. Aki Light?
Who is a normal, upbeat schoolboy robot who, when activated, reforms into a suit of impenetrable armor.
So I have one question. How does he get activated?
Puberty is that happens. No, you know what?
For ages 6 to 9.
That's true. They haven't got through that yet. Yeah, that's only something.
Touches his hand.
That's only something the parents can appreciate.
He notices his hair in strange places.
That is too young.
His jeans stopped fitting.
What was that?
He just bought those jeans.
You know what I remember as a young child?
A youngin'?
A youngin' is I had to buy so many pairs of shoes all the time. Because your feet's always growing.
That's true.
One of the things I enjoy about being an adult is like, oh my god, I mean...
Feet stay the same size?
Feet stay the same size.
I thank God every day that my feet stopped growing.
Because now I'm like, I don't have to keep trying on all these shoes. When I go shoe shopping, I'm like, I know my size, and I can go and buy it, and I'm out of there.
So what we're really getting at right now is puberty's bullshit.
Going from young person to adult.
It's a real rough
terrible
time.
process.
It's awful. If anybody out there listening to this is going through puberty right now, our hearts go out to you.
I'm so sorry. Don't watch this show. It won't make you feel better.
Shaving won't be fun.
Yeah,
don't even think it is.
You never even...
It's annoying. It's such a bunch of crap.
But,
what a waste of time.
What was I going to say about this? What was that cartoon on... I feel like it was on Nickelodeon.
Probably.
That had the high school robot girl.
My Life as a Teenage Robot?
I think that's what it was. This just seems like a worse version of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of, actually. You're pretty spot on there. Yeah.
It's like a worse animated and I'm sure not as well written version of that.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, this jank 3D model already. His face looks particularly bad.
It's just off-putting.
What is his expression imply?
Poorly animated.
It's not good.
We're gonna,
It's bad. You're bad, Mega Man. You're bad now.
I think the most annoying thing about it is that Capcom is like, oh, let's not like make a new Mega Man game. Let's just do this garbage.
Yes.
Ugh.
Hooray. So
what do we got next? We got a strange game.
This is a strange game. So Way Forward, makers of many games and remasters of games at this point. They did like DuckTales remaster and like some other stuff.
So good.
They're doing the Shantae games, the new one and the remaster of the old Game Boy Advance Shantae games.
I don't know what that is.
Shantae Half Genie Hero? Get educated.
I do not know what that is.
Educated. Severely underrated platformer series from the Game Boy Advance.
Oh.
That it was remastered by Way Forward, and now they're also putting out a kickstarted, brand new one that they built from the ground up, and it looks really fun. You play as a genie girl, and you transform into animals and stuff.
Cool.
There's pirates and robots and junk. It's neat.
That sounds kind of like this game.
It's kind of like this game. So 3 years ago, Way Forward put out assets for a game called Cat Girl Without Salad.
Mm-hmm.
It was announced on April Fool's, however, and it was definitely not real. However, in May of 2016, not April, Way Forward has confirmed the project is now real and will be available in the Humble Monthly Bundle. It follows the tales of Kebako, bounty hunter and chef extraordinaire, and her squadron of calamarites, I guess those are like squid, and her quest is to destroy the Neko clan. Nothing else is known about the project, or if it will be like its absurd initial pitch, but there's a delightful photo from an earlier article when it first got, announced, quote-unquote.
It's just Hawaii vomit all over your
That's
screen.
The best possible description of it. I couldn't have thought of a better description of it. And I really hope that this is actually what the game ends up looking like.
Oh, yeah.
I want them to go all the way with this.
It's so over the top. It's amazing.
I want it to just be a complete mess.
It's got... The best part about it is it's like, it displays this HUD that has pieces from, all these different games that are just meshed together. So you have, the dance pad...
for DDR.
But then you also have, a health bar, an energy
XP.
bar, and little hearts.
There's other bars. There's other hearts.
There's also, a high score, best score, top score indicator.
There's a combo system.
There's, something that looks like a little puzzle,
There's also
Candy Crush thing going on.
Rankings.
Yeah.
The characters on the screen at present time are all ranked, although the third one isn't even on the screen.
That's why he's third.
Those are her calamarites, I guess. She has little robot squid sidekicks.
So, this looks amazing.
Cool.
Looks like it's going to give you a seizure. But
and you have a text input RPG thing?
Oh, yeah.
Too here?
I didn't notice that.
Wow. Cat Girl Without Salad.
Too good.
We'll see where that goes.
Too good for this world.
You know what's also too good for this world? Battleborn. Almost couldn't say it with a straight face. What's happening with Battleborn right now?
Oh my gosh!
What did they just do? They on May 25th. They dropped some exciting stuff for the people playing.
A sweet announcement that they made, and this is an article from Polygon. But they decided that they're going to drop the price of Battleborn from what was it, $60 or $55, basically, to $40.
Yes.
Now this raises some eyebrows because this happened.
This is from now through Saturday, as of the writing of this through Saturday. So tomorrow is the last day that this is the case.
But it's the price drop initiated on the same day that Overwatch came out, and Overwatch is a $40 game.
Overwatch is only $40?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Wow.
I could be totally wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's true.
I don't know what this. I'm gonna check this right now. Suspiciously enough, they also released a new character. At the same time.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's also important.
Yeah. Overwatch shopping. Where can I buy Overwatch? How much does it cost? No, it's $60.
What? This isn't true. I don't believe it.
It's right there. It says it.
I'm looking at it. I don't believe it.
Overwatch $60. Sit on it.
No.
So now it's obviously it's conjecture on our part to say this, but there's no way in hell that there's not a corroboration between this price drop and Overwatch's release.
No.
This is 100% them grabbing for more people to buy the game after Overwatch came out. Because they knew because they knew Overwatch was going to blow them out of the water.
What's interesting is when I've read, because I haven't played either of them, I've seen gameplay of both of them.
I've seen a lot more of Overwatch.
Yeah.
And heard a lot more of Overwatch.
But I've read articles that talk about, like, okay, now that they're both out, how similar are they? And it's interesting because a lot of the people are like, well, when you get right into it, they're actually different in some significant ways. Mm-hmm. Though they are certainly the same kind of game.
Yes.
But the idea has already taken hold in terms of the fans and the general public who are buying these games.
Cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah, that they are the same.
Of the arena MOBA shooter.
Yeah, that they are the same, and that Overwatch is just sort of a better version.
Yes.
So that's the conception.
And that Overwatch is more likely to be supported in the future, like going forward.
Oh.
That just kind of...
I mean, Blizzard is certainly good about that, but I don't assume that Gearbox isn't good about that.
But the thing is, there's this prevailing thought that Overwatch is the better game and that Overwatch is going to do better, which I think as well is kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, is what I'm getting at, in that the fact that it's going to do so much better probably means that it will get much more support down the line, whereas if Battleborn's numbers start dropping off, which we'll get to in a moment, they already are, it is highly unlikely that it will be supported for anywhere near as long as Overwatch. Whether it be through patches, all new content, or even just the servers being up. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I'm also pretty sure that when you compare because we don't know what sales numbers look like yet, because it's still too early. Those numbers haven't come out.
Yes.
But we do know some of the numbers for the betas.
Yeah.
And the Overwatch beta just blew everybody out of the water. It blew other genres out of the water.
Yeah.
So if we're going off that, we're assuming that Overwatch is going to overtake Battleborn.
Yes.
But what is this thing about Battleborn losing players?
So, in an article from today, 27th on Destructoid, Battleborn, which came out a few weeks ago, it launched, I believe, right at the beginning of the month, beginning of May. It was pretty big when it first launched. There were a lot of people who picked it up. There were a lot of people playing it. At the time of the writing of this article, meaning earlier today, Battleborn has 2,434 Steam players. And is, according to Steam, the 103rd most played game on the platform. So that's not that high. And for a game that's supposed to be kind of, just keep playing it multiplayer thing, people aren't really keeping playing. Only a month following its release. And it looks even more... They kind of funnily say, it looks even worse considering in 102nd place is EVGA Precision X FFXV16.
What
which
is that?
A program that helps you overclock your graphics card. It's not even a game.
It's not even a game. See, that was the thing I was wondering, is like how good is 103? Like,
and that's a 2-year-old graphics card overclocking game.
It's not even a
program.
It's not even a recent overclocking.
Worm is the game. Is that like a Worms game? Because there's some other stuff listed here too. So there's some weird multiplayer game where you smash worms. Shakes and Fidget, YouTuber's Life. So there's a bunch of like little goofy budget games that are like
way higher on the list.
And Space War is at number 39, which isn't even available through the Steam store. It's a sample game for the Steamworks developers.
Oh no.
So Battleborn's already kind of fizzling, which is kind of what led me to say what I just said about self-fulfilling prophecy. Mm-hmm. Whereas they have ideas for support going forward with Battleborn, but how likely is it that that stuff will ever come to fruition if the game keeps dropping off? Or even stays where it is right now, because if it stays at the numbers it's at right now, it's still not doing that great.
Yeah, it's still not competitive.
Yeah.
Oof.
This comes off to me like everybody was just playing it until Overwatch came out.
You know what? We were talking about this.
It's just the cat groaning.
Your cat is overheated.
She's very overheated.
You need to... You shouldn't be running that overclock program on her.
This is a program to overclock your cat.
But no, what we were talking about earlier, maybe we should transition into that story, is the how Final Fantasy 15...
maybe hitting similar woes.
A similar thing might happen with Final Fantasy 15 because of it. Because Final Fantasy 15 is going to launch 2 weeks after, or no, yes,
2 weeks after.
2 weeks after
Persona 5.
It's
launching on September 30th, whereas Persona 5 is coming out on September 15th.
And what we were talking about is like, Final Fantasy 15 should change their launch date so they're launching 2 weeks prior to Persona 5, because at least then someone will play it for those 2 weeks. But
we're both of the mind that Persona 5 is going to blow it out of the water.
Oh yeah.
If I'm proven wrong, I'll be surprised.
I just think that they're both, the audiences for both those games are really pretty similar.
There's an overlap for sure.
Even though they're not super similar games. I mean, they're both JRPGs.
Yes.
But
beyond that, there's quite a bit of difference.
Yeah. But I think there's enough overlap in audience that a lot of those people are going to because as we know, games are expensive and people are going to buy one or the other, and I think people are going to choose Persona.
People who pick Final Fantasy just have no sense of style. You seen the menus in Persona 5?
Oh, they're so good.
That UI is crisp. Jesus, that game has style. It's just oozing it everywhere. Whereas you look at FF15, it looks very bland. Even the most recent trailer that's actually on this article, it just looks like plain.
But here's what worries me most, and this segues nicely into this article, is it's not that fans don't have confidence in Final Fantasy 15, although some of them don't. But now with a story that just came out from Game Zone from May 23rd, it seems like the developers don't have confidence in it, and that really worries me.
Yes.
So this is an article entitled Final Fantasy 15 director says, a Final Fantasy disease,
quote unquote,
engulfed the development team at Square Enix, or Squeenix.
What does this mean? Is it perhaps an STD from Sydney being so sexy?
Probably. No, it's a metaphor, unfortunately. But it's about, it's actually, I feel like it's sort of a lost in translation thing.
It could be.
Because it sounds really weird.
It definitely could be.
But yeah, so let's see, I could just jump into these, quotes. So the Tekken, I forgot about this. The producer for Tekken was brought onto the project.
Yeah, Harada.
And he was talking about this because of how far along the project had already gotten and how he needed to change a bunch of things.
Yes. Because this was when Hajime Tabata was brought onto the FF15 team to run it. after the game had already been going through like development hell, essentially.
Yeah.
Because if you've been following FF15 at all, you know that it used to be Final Fantasy Versus 13, and was originally supposed to come out like alongside FF13, more or less, which was quite some time ago by now. And then it, kind of got shelved, or no one was saying anything about it, and then we saw FF15, and everyone was like, oh, it's just FF Versus 13. But now they're calling it 15, and now it's a road trip.
And it seemed like the whole team was sort of very rudderless. So they called in this guy to try and clean it up, and that's why he gave this quote about the disease. And what he means by that, he explains. It refers to people within the company who can't imagine anything other than their own view of Final Fantasy. Since the root is a strong self-affiliation, or affirmation,
Yes.
one's own view of Final Fantasy takes more priority than the team's success. If that view of Final Fantasy isn't fulfilled, then they're convinced that it's bad for Final Fantasy. They think, since Final Fantasy is a special team, then we are also special because we are making it. When the new Final Fantasy comes out, everybody is going to be so into it. But that's not the reality of the situation, is it?
So
this is a weird statement.
It's weirdly stated, and I agree with you that I think the translation's a little wonky.
Yeah.
And doesn't quite probably convey what Tabata is trying to say. But the best I feel like I can glean from it is, in his opinion, the people on this team all love Final Fantasy. Mm-hmm. They've played a lot of Final Fantasy, they enjoy it, they're happy to be making it. But at the same time, all of these people feel that they, as part of the FF team, because they view FF in such a high regard, are like a special development team. Because this is the important game. This is Final Fantasy 15. We're a part of it. We're going to do it. Yeah. And within that, each of them also, as a result of, experiencing all these other FF games that they've no doubt played differently, believe that they know what makes a Final Fantasy game a Final Fantasy game.
They have a very stringent vision of it.
Right, especially after all the criticism that 13 received. This doesn't surprise me, because the attitude with 13 probably ended up being, oh, well, mistakes were made, and it didn't end up being a Final Fantasy game like it should have been. Mm-hmm. So you probably have tons of conflicting opinions on why Final Fantasy 13 didn't work as a Final Fantasy game, and how to fix it. So I guess what he's saying here is, everyone's got these ideas, everyone thinks their ideas are right, so you have a bunch of people on the dev team pushing their agenda, kind of their personal agenda, to make the game what they want it to be, while disregarding other people's, and discounting other people's opinions if they do not match their own in some way. Like, saying, well, that's not what I think Final Fantasy is, so I don't think that's what the fans want. But it makes it sound like the whole team is just kind of going off in their own directions, and kind of slapping the game together from that. Which is bad. Like, that's really bad. But what... I mean, you basically said, when we talked about this earlier, that... Or we talked a little bit how we feel like him saying this is kind of pre-release damage control.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, which is weird. And I don't know if... Like, if it was an American company, I'd say that's definitely what it is.
Yes.
But because it's a Japanese company, maybe not. I don't know.
Right. And like you said, this quote could be poorly translated.
Yeah. But it seems to come off like, oh my gosh, I came in here to work on this, and these guys were just doing this crazy stuff, and they had no idea what was going on, like what people outside of the company wanted to play, and like, this game's going to come out, and I tried to steer it in the right direction, but I might not have gotten all the way there, so, take it with a... don't judge it too harshly when it comes out.
If the game's bad, we're sorry.
Yeah, it might be bad. Don't, judge it on a curve when it comes out, which you shouldn't do. But
Tabata said he felt it was important for the series to be modernized to stay relevant. And in 2012, once he was put on as game director, they conducted an analysis of the brand for Final Fantasy. The results of which were apparently pretty grim. Because Tabata is quoted as saying that they identified Final Fantasy as a dying IP that had already peaked.
Oh.
So, hopefully, they fixed that problem. Like, they managed to kind of drag it back. but maybe they didn't.
That actually segues really nicely into another story that I had heard about, and I found the article for it.
Yes.
A story from the 23rd from Kotaku that is a poll that was done in Japan. Poll: most Japanese college students haven't played Final Fantasy. Which, when I told Dan, he was like, what?
But then I thought about it more.
And it made sense.
And it kind of made sense more to me.
So this is... For one thing, this is not an exhaustive poll. This is 400 people.
So a pretty small sample size in the grand scheme of things.
200 men, 201 women.
Japan has
got those extra votes.
Japan has like a population of 150 million people, too.
Yeah.
So if we're looking at all of Japan, pretty small sample size.
Yeah. But still, the results are pretty interesting. It's 119 students, or 29.7%, said, yeah, they play Final Fantasy, and the rest, 282 students, 70.3%, for those of you paying attention, said, no, they have never played Final Fantasy. And this struck me as a little crazy, because I assume that it's such a big brand. It's like such a recognizable brand here that it should be more recognizable in Japan. But then I thought about the release dates of the Final Fantasy games. And like the big ones. So Final Fantasy X was a big Final Fantasy game. That came out in 2001.
Yep.
Which means if you're in college right now, you're 18 or 19 right now.
You were like 3.
So you were like 3. So you definitely didn't play 10. And Final Fantasy 12, which was a pretty big Final Fantasy game, that was like 2006?
And
2007?
And 12 was divisive.
It was. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I think it was even before that. 12 was like 04, I want to say.
But 2006, yeah.
It was 2006, really?
Because it was like at the very tail end of when games were being made for the PS2.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they were also too young to be playing that, really. I mean, maybe they were, but... And then there's, like... Since then, there have been 13 people weren't that into.
13-2.
13-2 people still weren't that into.
13-3.
13-3. 13 versus wait.
13-3, subtitle, please stop making us try to care about Lightning. Jesus Christ. She's a shitty character, she'll never not be. Freaking hell. She's not even the best character in FF13, but they push her so hard because she's the director's waifu.
Oh, no.
It's true. He posts creepy stuff about her all the time.
But then you've got...
it's like when somebody at a band has a girlfriend and puts them in all the music videos.
Oh, she Yoko Ono'd it.
Yoko Ono'd, or the lady in the Whitesnake music video danced on the hood of the car. Oh. Dusty. She totally broke up the band. Never forget Whitesnake.
But yeah, so when you think about the fact, if people weren't playing 13 or its subsequent sequels,
if you really look at it objectively, Final Fantasy's been sparse
for quite a while.
Because 11 and 14 were well received as far as MMOs go, but they're MMOs.
And that's a different audience. Yeah,
it's a totally different monster.
Although we should point out, and we were speculating about this when we first talked about the article, that the trends with the Japanese gamers, especially younger gamers, I think, seem to be more focused on mobile gaming.
Handheld and mobile gaming,
yeah.
For sure.
So,
I mean, you look at the huge popularity of Monster Hunter as a cooperative handheld title.
So there are a few grains of salt to take the study with. One, the sample size is so small. Two, we don't know how spread out it is. So if it was just people from like one college, because it's such a small sample size, it totally could have just been people from one college. That's not really going to give us a good representation. And the idea that it might just be that mobile has taken such a strong foothold in Japan that...
And also, even among young people, there's a very large subset of any population, if not a complete majority of most populations, that just don't really play that many video games. Especially not huge JRPGs. Even in Japan.
Even in Japan, Dan.
Even in Japan.
I don't believe it.
I believe it. I mean, we can count mobile games separately. Like, if you count that, then I bet a ton of people play them. Right. But you're counting things like Final Fantasy, that's a totally different order of game.
Yeah.
Like, the person who plays Angry Birds on their phone every day is still a far cry from the person who sits down and plays a 100-hour JRPG, start to finish.
True.
Which is not to say there can't be overlap there, but there's lots of people who do one and not the other.
Yeah. Speaking of Japanese RPGs,
there's an opinion piece on GameZone that Persona 5 will be a better game than Final Fantasy 15. This opinion is correct.
I think it is 100% correct.
But yeah, we think... I think the takeaway from this is that Lex and I think that Square Enix has a problem because they should have Battleborned it and released FF15 before Persona 5. So they could have gotten that early adopter, I need something to tide me over buy for Final Fantasy. Whereas in this case, I feel like most people are going to pick up Persona 5. Most JRPG fans are going to pick up Persona 5, play the hell out of it, probably love it because I can't really see it being bad, and then probably just not really care that much about FF15 when it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you make a really good point with all the releases between these games, because you think of like all the old Final Fantasy games came out closer together back in like the 90s, and like
they did, 10, yeah, man,
came out much closer together, and they were all a big deal. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, new Final Fantasy, let's play it." Final Fantasy 7, yeah. Final Fantasy 8, yeah. Final Fantasy 9, yeah. Like that's what everyone wanted, and then it's like 10, cool. 11's gonna be an MMO,
yeah.
12, it was okay. 13, and 13 was like 5 years later. Like,
didn't you have a 13 poster at some point?
I did. I got it from GameStop.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I liked 13. I thought it was fine, but I can look at it objectively and be like, yeah, it wasn't that great a game. But like, I enjoyed it more than most people, I think. And I liked Lightning until she became like the cover girl of Square Enix. It's like, she's not that good a character. Saz is where it's at. You want a well-written Final Fantasy character? Look at Saz. What's his deal? He's a black guy? What? That's crazy in a Japanese game. He's a black guy that isn't a racist caricature? That's unbelievable.
Unheard
in a
of.
Japanese game.
Oh my god, can I have a quick side note?
Was great.
Can I have a quick side note about racism in Japan that has nothing to do with video games? There's a commercial. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a commercial for laundry detergent.
I've seen some racist stuff in Japan.
There's a commercial for laundry detergent that's making rounds on Facebook right now. And it's literally like this cute Japanese girl next to a washing machine, and then this black guy walks into the room, and he's got like a paintbrush, he's got paint all over him, he's been working, I guess. And he's leaning against the doorway, and he's like...
I dread where this is going.
Yeah, and he's like... And he's making faces at her, and she's like, come over here. And he comes over there, and they're, like, about to kiss. And then when he goes in, she puts the detergent thing in his mouth, and then shoves him into the washing machine. And then does the wash that he comes out as a Japanese person.
Oh my god.
It's, like, so racist.
Holy crap.
And then she's fine to go out with him, because he's Japanese.
That's nuts.
It's like...
That's crazy.
It's really crazy.
I mean, I know Japan is not exactly progressive when it comes to race issues, but that's like, whoa. Well, I told you the story when I was over there, and I was walking down the street and I saw a tanning salon that was called the Black People Tanning Salon. Which just that took me a minute. I had to take a knee when I saw that. But yeah, so Japan not so great progressive on racial issues, Mr. Popo. But Saz was like the most progressive black character I've ever seen in a Japanese video game, because he was cool and good and had a compelling story all his own. Good for you, Saz. You should have been the star of Final Fantasy 13, 2, and 3. Would have been a better series.
Oh, definitely.
I haven't been excited about FF15 at all, really, and I continue to not be excited about it, especially in light of this. But I guess we'll see when it comes out what kind of reviews it gets. And I think I don't just speak for myself when I say I'm way more excited for the FF7 remake.
Oh, I think that's true. Yeah.
Almost
I think it's totally true.
Because that looks great. And I want it. And there was the whole thing about, it's going to be in 3 parts. They're trying to rip us off. Each of those 3 parts is going to be like 100 hours long. That's why it's going to be in 3 parts, because if it wasn't, they couldn't fit on the disc. Like, FF7 only worked as being as vast as it was because it was a PS1 game.
Yeah, it's like, well, this isn't, the FF7 remake is not being made by EA, so I don't assume that they're just trying to cheat us out of money, but, I mean, they could be, and we won't really know until we get there, but there's a good argument to make that that's not what they're doing.
They're turning cutscenes into gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow! It's nuts. I care way more about that than Boy Band Road Trip. Don't worry, though, there's also an FF15 movie.
Oh, we reported on that, yeah.
Yeah, Kingslave. But don't worry, though, it's going to be super pretty looking. And I mean, yeah, it's super pretty looking.
Will it be better than Spirits Within? I mean, he's not in it, but it doesn't look like him.
So, like, that movie will be really pretty, but I bet the story will be a whole bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
Wear your seatbelt, princess. This is tragic news. No Man's Sky may be getting delayed.
Oh, no.
The chums at Kotaku, this is a Destructoid article that I guess is sourcing from a Kotaku article, on the 25th, have verified with 2 different sources that No Man's Sky has been delayed from its planned June 21st release date. A GameStop employee posted a picture of the delay notification as proof. Whoop whoop. As they were instructed to put large coming soon stickers over the release date listed on posters for the game. The outlet also claims it has heard the game won't be released until at least July or August. On Destructoid, they say they'd rather have a delayed game than a game launched with bugs or missing features, and that they were still getting issues out of the PS4, allegedly, the PS4 version of the game. But one would imagine that they have ironed out these problems in a year's time. Maybe they just want to market it more and to let people know exactly what it is, because people have watched tons of footage, myself included now, and are still not, 100% clear on, the game.
Yeah, the actual gameplay, what you're actually doing, not just the concept.
Stuff.
We get the concept.
And they'll do gameplay that's just you can do this, and you can do this, and you can do this. And, maybe that is it. Maybe it's just here's the world, you can do things. If that's the game, that's fine. But it's still very unclear.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, there's a space battle up there. If you want to join that space battle, you can. But we get no more information than that.
Yeah, I'm what would it be like if I joined that space battle?
What would happen if we did that? If you want to be a science man and explore and do science things in space, you can do that. How?
Yeah,
what do I do?
What is science? How do I science?
How do I do the science, though? And stuff about, figuring out alien languages, and, there's factions, apparently. And...
Yeah, that's the thing with the space battles is, there are factions vying for control of the galaxy. I'm well, who are they?
And part of it, I feel is that this game is pitching itself as being very mysterious. It's a game about exploration. It's a game where they want you to find these things for yourself. So perhaps it's all intentional. Information is not being withheld because there isn't anything. It's being withheld because the developer genuinely wants us to find this stuff out on our own. And wants people to go on the internet and talk to each other and be I found this, oh, I figured out how this works. Because he did say in a half-an-hour gameplay thing he did with IGN recently that what they've shown off in all the videos so far of you with a ship, and you with a scanner, and a gun, and spacesuits that do things, you don't start with any of that. You start on a random planet with nothing, apparently. So you don't get a ship off the bat. You gotta build your ship to get off the first planet you're on. And he said, basically, you're gonna start on a planet, and you're probably gonna be on that first planet for a while before you even get to another planet. And so on and so forth. Which I actually thought was cool. I liked the idea of that, because if this game is so much about exploration, he's made it a reward just to get off planet, which I like. I don't like the idea that traveling from planet to planet is just a given.
Yeah.
It's just handed to you. The idea of having to work for it, that suggests to me, okay, there's a game here, because I have a goal. And then a goal beyond that, and a goal beyond that, etc., etc. So I think that's very cool. And hopefully the game delivers on a lot of the hype. But we shall see. And if it is getting delayed, then hopefully the delays help it deliver on that hype.
I want to point out that I am almost certain that I called this delay. Because they took they were like, oh no, we don't know when it's coming out. It's coming out soon. It's coming out at some point. And then very recently they were like, oh, it's coming out June 21st. And I was like, that's really soon. Yeah. That's going to get delayed.
Yeah, you totally did mention that. Why don't you take us into this story about the Oculus Rift?
Okay.
Because this is our other big story, I think, this week.
This story's got a lot of twists and turns. I'm probably not going to cover them very well. But basically, there was a story on Ars Technica, and a couple other outlets reported on this as well, on, I believe, Monday the 23rd. Yeah, it's probably Monday. Whatever. And it was about how Oculus and the HTC Vive... but sort of more this other developer guy are kind of having a tiff, and there is drama going on with the whole VR ecosystem. And the title of the article is, at least from Ars Technica, is Oculus's exclusivity protection leads to a VR piracy arms race. The
idea here being, for anyone who's not clear, that Oculus Rift has built-in software, that's basically DRM, anti-piracy software, that stops you from playing Oculus exclusive content on a non-Oculus Rift headset.
Yes.
Which makes sense. In the sense, you think of like a console game, like, we want this as a PS4 exclusive. They're doing the same thing to market these headsets because they cost so much money.
Yeah.
That's your incentive. Why do you want an Oculus Rift? Because only it has these games.
Yes. But there are some people out there who are like, hey, what if maybe I can't afford multiple headsets because they're so freaking expensive?
And we can already get our hands on the Vive.
Well, the Oculus has also come out.
Has it come out?
Yes.
What?
I just looked that up.
When did it release?
On March 28th.
Who told me?
I'm pretty sure we did a story on it.
Did we?
I think we did.
Wow, that's just a testament to how little I care about VR.
Fair. But yeah, so this guy, and I totally cannot find his name in this article. I had found it earlier when I first read about this, and it has escaped me now. I apologize. But he made this thing called Revive.
Yes.
And Revive's whole thing is it's software that allows you to play Oculus games on the Vive.
Yep. Which is neat.
And
it's not legal, but it's neat.
Yeah. Well, part of the stated reason why he did this was that when Oculus was first starting out, they made a lot of statements about how they were really into being an open platform. So his whole thing was like, okay, so I'm doing this because you said that since VR is the future and everyone should be using it, like, as long as we're buying your games, it doesn't matter if they're exclusive. Like, you said that a long time ago.
Yes.
And now that it's actually happening, Oculus is like, whoa, man, I don't know about that. Like, what if you didn't do that? So what Oculus did was on Friday of last week, they had a Oculus runtime update that blocks this program, that it blocks Revive stuff. So it would no longer work in the DRM protections. So then the guy goes back to it, and he's like, okay, well, I want to make this work. But the only way I can figure out to make it work is to bypass DRM entirely, rather than just sort of this weird kind of in-between that I had been doing. But now that I'm bypassing DRM entirely, it means that the games aren't being checked at all. It's not just that they're not being checked by the computer to make sure that they're legitimate copies of the game, and that they're being checked by Oculus to make sure that they're being played on an Oculus. Now they're not being checked, period.
So now they are freely piratable.
Yes. And he wrote about it in this post. He was like, I kind of... Oh, you know what? Actually, I might be able to find that quote here.
He says here, I really didn't want to go down this path, but I feel like there is no other way. I still do not support piracy. Do not use this library for pirated copies.
Yes. So he's very clear that his intention is not...
it at all.
Yeah.
But he also opened it up to it. So one could call him a little bit on hypocrisy here.
A little bit.
I feel like his heart is just. But one could say, like, dude, if this was the only option, like, you probably shouldn't have poked the beehive, so to speak, you know? But I guess he feels like it's his duty.
What his, it's actually interesting because his stated reason is, when possible, I'd like my workaround to help developers generate more revenue, not hurt that revenue. So his whole idea was like, if there's all these Oculus exclusive games, but people can only got the Vive, and now they're never going to buy those games. Now with his software, they can buy those games and play them.
Which is I hate to play the glass half empty guy. That's a nice fairy tale scenario, which I feel like is a mean way of saying it.
Well,
but at the same time, like, people are going to pirate stuff.
Here's the thing, though. Before Oculus did this update, that actually was the effect.
Okay.
Because like,
as you know, I have not been following this at all. So please enlighten me.
Well, like I was saying, they did the runtime update last Friday, and that made it so that his software did not work. So he had to remake it so it bypassed DRM entirely. But before that, the way that worked was that the game DRM was checked, but then the Oculus thing was not checked.
So it was working as intended before. But now, I'm talking about now.
But now, yeah.
I feel like piracy is inevitably going to be happening.
Oh, totally.
Probably quite a bit.
It's just that I can
optimism of like, oh, this might help people. But
I get that. But I get that his original intent made sense with this.
Definitely.
And I put a little bit of the blame on Oculus, partially because of their early statement saying that like they were really endorsing the open platform.
Oh well, yeah, that's shifty. That's not cool at all. And I'll agree with you on that 100%. That's bad.
It's bad.
That's literally just taking back the thing you said to sell units.
Lucky, that was the guy who said that for Oculus.
Yes.
I'm trying to see if there's any quotes from him. There are some later on the article, but they're not. I don't know if they're citing his original quotes about how he wanted it to be open source, just what he's talking about now about defending the DRM. In December, Palmer Luckey told Reddit, and I think an Ask Me Anything thing, if customers buy a game from us, I don't care if they mod it to run on whatever they want. Our goal is not to profit by locking people only to our hardware. Right. So he, like, specifically said that he was cool with people playing it on different hardware. And then in March, Lucky defended the idea of launching with Rift exclusive games by telling Ars Technica, right now at this stage, of course I want people to buy the Oculus over the competition. Our goal is not to lock every piece of software to the Rift. Eventually, there's going to be a lot more headsets to support. Mm-hmm. So, it does, that was pretty shifty.
Yeah, some business doublespeak and like,
I'm actually curious.
Smoke and mirrors here.
I don't have time to look it up now, but as we know, Oculus originally was their own thing, and then they were purchased by Facebook.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if his original statement was before the Facebook purchase, and then this was implemented afterward.
Very possible.
That would be very interesting to me.
Kind of unsurprising, too, if that were the case.
Yeah.
But this story, is any action being taken against?
It doesn't seem that way, but it's a little early, so something may still happen.
Yeah, because this is only from the 23rd. It's like not even a week old yet. So I guess we'll see. If there's any updates, I'm sure we'll report on them. Because something's got to come of this one way or another. It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Speaking of game exclusivity, I mean, sort of, or not allowing games on your system, the Apple iOS App Store has recently rejected a platformer game called Layla and the Shadows of War, which is a Palestinian video game. It's a politically charged platformer designed by Mr. Rashid Abuida? I'm not sure how to pronounce that last name. That was throwing me for a loop.
It's not Japanese, so you're not good.
I'm not good on it. It's Arabic. That's giving me a rough time. I got the Rashid part, though. So he said that the App Store has blocked this game from being put on it because it has a political statement. and that allegedly he was sent a response by Apple in which the company explained how his submission doesn't qualify as a game. So Apple told him his platformer game is not a game because it has a political message.
Okay.
Which seems really stupid.
I'm sure there are games with political messages. I'm not crazy.
They're all over the place. Stuff like this happens all the time.
I'm having trouble thinking
games from like Middle Eastern developers and stuff that have political messages.
I'm having trouble thinking of some off the top of my head, but there's a bunch. I know there is.
Papers, Please?
Oh, yeah. There's one.
There's one that everybody knows.
Yep.
Papers, Please is literally just a big political message. So Apple said, please revise the app category for your app and remove it from games. Since we found that your app is not appropriate in the games category, it would be more appropriate to categorize your app in news or reference, for example. Which is wrong.
How does it make sense to put that with news?
It's a game. Look at the screenshot. It's a game.
The only thing putting it in those categories will do is kill your sales, because the people who want it will not find it.
Yes. Mr. Abuede, that's how I'm going to say it for now, because I'm not really sure, says that he believes that the political content of the game is a big factor in Apple's actual rejection. It doesn't really have to do with this, what they're saying it does. The black and white mobile game focuses heavily on the realities of life in the Gaza Strip. Players must navigate through constant bombing and shooting in an attempt to find a safer home. And despite the grave subject matter, the title otherwise features typical platforming elements and puzzle solving. This actually kind of strikes me as similar to Valiant Hearts. The World War I game that Ubisoft did, because that also had this very dark, dire subject matter, but it was presented in a platformer puzzle game kind of lens that almost makes it palatable.
This also makes me think a little bit about This War of Mine.
Yeah, definitely. Very similar theming going on there. This War of Mine also making a political statement.
Pretty strong one. Yeah.
How about that? How about it's almost like games can make important statements if they want to.
And still be games and not news.
And not news or reference. So the Google Play Shop currently lists the title amongst its adventure games. It's rated for mature audiences. It won honors from the Reboot Develop Indie Awards, which were held at a Croatian game industry conference. They reached out. Polygon has reached out to Apple about why it failed to pass muster with the game side of the App Store, but Android owners can freely get it as a game as of earlier this week. So if you're interested, check it out. Oh, there's actually been an update. I didn't even notice this. There has been an update that it is now available on the App Store in the games section. So good for them. Apple decided to publish it as a game despite initial reservations, the developer tweeted.
This happened
on the 22nd.
22nd.
Is when it went through. And I think the initial article
was from the 20th.
So really quickly.
A couple of days.
Yeah. And I'd imagine that's probably due to a lot of outcry from people. Once he publicly said, this is stupid. And then everyone else is like, wow, that is stupid.
That is stupid. Hey,
so Apple reconsidered,
stupid.
And because he even says in his tweet, thanks to all of you. So I believe there were a lot of people saying, Apple, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It reminds me of when all the Confederate flag controversy was going on.
Yeah.
In the U.S. For any of our UK listeners who may have no idea what we're talking about with this exactly, there was a big hullabaloo about the Civil War Confederate flag several months back now, and its symbolism as a symbol of hate and things like that, to the point that Apple removed all instances from it from the App Store, including a historical Civil War game.
Yeah.
It was like an educational, strategy game about the Civil War.
They should have filed it under reference.
Yeah, or news.
Or news.
Contemporary news, the Civil War. So yeah, well, good for Mr. Abuede.
No, I am glad that worked out. Yeah, we are out of time.
We're very out of time.
So, do you want to talk about upcoming games?
Yes.
Oh, some of those are fun stories, but we don't have time for any of them.
But most of them are not super important things. Little thingies.
Dorito Pope did something that was great.
Dorito Pope's doing more. He'll never stop.
He'll never stop.
Can't stop Dorito Pope.
He's doing E3.
Up on Mountain Dew.
Dorito Pope does E3.
So what has just come out? Overwatch just came out.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mutants in Manhattan.
I need to look at reviews for that. I'm super curious.
Gave it a very poor review. Destructoid gave it a 4.5 out of 10.
Wow.
I did not read the full review. I just checked the score out of curiosity, but I'm going to go back and read the review because I'm curious.
Total War Warhammer also came out. That's been getting good reviews.
Yes, I'm interested in checking that out.
People are into it.
Yeah. Why would you not be? It's a great idea.
Yeah, it's an amazing idea. Coming up, we have not anything too exciting. Hitman Marrakesh, which is sort of the DRM for Hitman, because the new Hitman game is like bogus, and it's just you buy it and you get like 2 missions.
Yeah.
So now another mission is coming out.
Yeah. One Piece Burning Blood. If you like One Piece and you like fighting games, maybe check it out. It actually looks kind of cool.
You can get it on the Vita.
Get it on the Vita.
Vita means life. Also,
don't forget about Omnibus.
Whatever that is.
In Omnibus, the player controls an unstoppable bus of unlimited power, with which the player is able to break through everything that comes in his way.
That game already came out. It came out yesterday.
You're right.
So
why am I not playing it right now?
Exactly. But yeah, I don't... there isn't too much...
Senran Kagura. Ninja Boobs. Again.
Yep.
Keep going.
There's...
Dangerous Golf.
Dangerous Golf. I'm excited for Dangerous Golf. That's coming out on the 3rd of June. Mark your calendars. Windows, PS4, and Xbone.
Get dangerous. Let's get dangerous.
It's going to be exciting.
Darkwing Duck.
Dangerous Golf. Look at that poster.
It looks pretty dangerous.
Excitement.
It's probably really stupid.
Right, it's probably really poorly developed. I'm assuming this is like a small developer and this game's going to look like garbage. But
it might be. You never know, though.
You never know.
It's developed on Unreal Engine 4.
A mix of Burnout, Black, and NBA Jam is how it's described in its Wikipedia.
You know, it might not be okay. It might turn out okay.
NBA Jam, listen.
So, that's been our show for the week.
It was, I think I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the show, but it is May 27th. So you've been listening to news from the week of May, I guess 23rd. This is the week of the 23rd, but it is the 27th.
Yes.
In the year of our Lord, 2016.
We forgot to say the date. We wanted to start doing that.
We did for 2 shows in a row.
Yeah.
So we're going to get there.
We had a good record going. 2 shows.
2 shows.
We can mark down our little sign. Days without forgetting to say the date. Pull that 2 off.
Yeah. It's got a whiteboard thing.
Yeah.
But no, so you can find us live here on chipit.net.
Yes.
On Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can find us on all sorts of social media, including Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, and Steam. We have show archives up on YouTube, on iTunes, and on the chipit.net site, so you can listen to past episodes. And those usually get updated. The new ones get up pretty quick. I think I've gotten into because I don't work on the weekends as much anymore because my schedule shifted around, so now usually we're broadcasting on Friday, and that show is going up on Chipit, iTunes, and then a little later in the day, YouTube sometime on Saturday. So I got a pretty good turnaround. It's good. Good stuff. Listen to Chipit. It's great. It's a great channel. They have 3 new shows coming up. One of which I am going to be producing and maybe co-hosting, which is going to be about comic books and comic book related pop culture stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Get excited about that. But I think most importantly, remember, don't copy that floppy.